Linux OTC. Welcome to episode 15. We're your hosts. I'm Bill.
I'm Norbert.
I'm Leo.
Here we are again. After a short hiatus, happy to be back, I suppose. I'm always happy. Leo's always happy. Look at his
Bill,
face.
you always sound happy. Just listen to the guy. Listen to him. The happiness just oozes.
Is it catchy though? I mean, is it getting across? Is other people feeling it? I don't know.
Oh, right.
You know.
Right into the show. Let us know. Does Bill's happiness rub off on you, and then the rest of your day is just like
I would
so
like
happy.
to know, yeah.
So
Or
happy.
does my happiness come across as manipulation and malcontempt?
Yeah.
Speaking of writing into the show, we do have a little bit of feedback I want to get into real quick. And this is from NPR fan who emailed the show. Show at... No, Linux. Wait, yeah, show at linuxotc.org. Help me out
See,
here, guys.
we've been gone so long, we don't even know what the email address is.
I don't
anymore.
even know how to podcast anymore. I don't even know if any of this stuff's really working. It's all lit up, so hope for the best.
Cross
He
your
wrote,
fingers, everyone.
yeah, cross your fingers. He wrote, just wanted to thank you for working for free. Thank Leo for fixing his audio level. I wanted to complain like that other guy who downloads the MP3 and decided it would be rude
Wasn't
to
even
do
me.
so. So since I benefit from this premium knowledge for free, I'm not even going to try to keep a straight face. I promise to pay you as soon as I find a gift card that Patreon will accept. That was a good introduction to the immutable OS concept. Don't tell anyone because it's embarrassing, but I basically use Git as a file system from NPR fan. And this was back in June 4th, so if that gives you any indication as to how good
And we
I
didn't
am at
cover
keeping
this
up
one?
with
I
it.
feel like we covered this one.
Well, I wanted to bring it up because it's been kind of ongoing.
Oh, okay.
He wrote again, he, she, they. He wrote again on June 30th. Dear podcasters, enclosed is a $150 Chipotle gift card I bought at Safeway a few hours ago. Please keep up the good work. Try not to spend it all at the same place and times so it lasts
Yeah, I
as
was going to
long.
say.
It lasts longer than a head of lettuce or a British prime minister.
They're going through it right now. I get it.
And he actually did send us a. Have you used any of that yet?
I have not.
I haven't
Not
either.
yet. You
Yep,
would think so. I was a little late to the show today. You would think so.
You got a hold of something that didn't.
But
agree
I
with you.
did not. It was not Chipotle.
Do you have Chipotle in Hungary?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then
we don't have
I'll-
Chick-fil-A. We don't have Taco Bell. Even if we did have Chipotle, they probably wouldn't accept a US coupon.
That's
I
true.
wonder.
It's not a coupon.
A coupon.
What-
You're not
was
getting
it?
10% off. You're getting 100% off.
Oh, okay.
It's worth $150. I mean, he sent us a $150 Chipotle chicken.
All right, hold on. What is the chain? Like, what is the chain in Hungary?
Well, if you asked that 10 years ago, I would have probably said McDonald's, but nowadays KFC has come up pretty nice. So
Really?
probably them. Third one that's about is Burger King, and I think that's the only three that are originate from the US that I can think of.
Oh, no. But, like,
Anything
like,
good?
yeah. Like, what's local that's a chain that's good?
Oh, they probably well, when you say chain, that
More than one location.
yeah, more
What
than
I
one
noticed
location.
about Europeans in general is they don't eat out as much in the way that Americans do. They
I don't eat
give
out
their
pretty
food
much
a
ever,
little-
really.
They give their food more dignity. They're more into
Yeah,
sitting
we
at
have-
home
we
with
have a-
family.
we have a few that are very local, so probably just confined to the capital. They maybe have 2 locations, so we don't really have franchises.
Yeah.
as
Well,
much.
like around here, we have an Alfredo's. There's like 4 of them here. And then there's a few in towns around us.
You've got stuff in Texas that we can only dream about in Indiana.
It's pretty amazing. The food is pretty amazing. There are other issues, but the food's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. Well, his second letter goes on to say, a question for Bill. My friend who works at a truck repair company is a service manager. He speaks of a class of people that bring their truck into his shop for repair and they get refused because the cab has a hole going down to the street. The driver uses the hole to expel
No,
their excrement
no.
so they don't have to stop driving, allegedly. I think this is BS. That would make the most disgusting mess. Is this really a thing or is my friend trolling me? Um,
The hesitation tells me all I need to
So,
know.
well, the reason I'm hesitating is because this is difficult. Because this job of mine is one of those lines of work that is full of all kinds of legend and lore. There's all
Well,
these
let me
crazy
just
stories.
but before you get into the truth of it all, uh, I am almost 100% sure Peterbilt does not put that
No,
in
no,
the cab stock. Like that's
he's
an
talking about
aftermarket.
something that somebody would make with a drill or
Right,
a
right.
sawzall. That they would cut the hole, and yes, if you cut a hole in the floor, you've got a.
This is what we like to call an aftermarket accessory.
So there are these rather prolific stories on the road that you will hear in many different places across the entire country, in this line of work. And I'll go over three very popular ones. The first one I like to call the 9-foot state trooper. There's a story going around about a state trooper that'll pull you over in Mississippi, and other stories put him in other places, but he'll walk up to the side of the truck and look you dead in the eye. Now, in order for that to be possible, the guy would have to be 9 feet tall, and that's one story.
Or
Yeah,
on stilts, he could be a clown.
yeah.
Like clown by day, officer by night. You know?
And you've got another story. Let's see. You've got a lot of stories like that, and this is one of them where you'll hear mechanics talk about, yeah, I knew this guy cut a hole in his floorboard so that he could just going down the road, and I can tell you I've been driving for 30 years and I've never actually seen anything like that, and I've had to go get some pretty trashed trucks that people have abandoned on the
Well,
road and
well,
things.
we have those in Linux too, right? There's this legend that there are people, like a group of people, that will not only kind of hodgepodge an entire Linux system together, but they'll compile everything. Like I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
actually believe it. It's
crazy,
way
man.
out there, dude. I don't know. Never
There's
seen
this
it.
group of people. They use this thing. I think it's called Slack.
No, that
I
legend
just
is true. That
I
legend
just
is me.
Slackware.
I just wrote it into my Gentoo install, and I actually did. Well,
That is a
Now
statement older
compile a
than
kernel.
you.
Go.
yeah, I have compiled the kernel because otherwise my trackpad wouldn't work on the Gentoo for some reason.
See,
Yeah.
the legends are
Oh.
true, man.
There
as
was
as
once.
as for the cutting hole in the floor of the truck, I would have probably said that I think that's not true if it wasn't for the fact that sometimes I still encounter old cars here that are still carrying people, where you look down into the toilet and you see the rails.
No, really?
Yeah, I think a couple of
I've heard
them
of
are
those
still.
That's
actually.
just
Yeah.
a
It's
moving
rare.
outhouse.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's very much rare, but I think I've seen one of those in the past 5 years or so. So
Wow.
I think airplanes have those, don't they? Where they just,
Do
or
do
do they
they?
jettison it out the rear
yeah,
end or something?
I think for airplanes that are like 8 miles in the air, it might
Right.
not matter because
So by the time it hits you, it's going about what? What's terminal velocity for
I mean, yeah, a lot,
for ice for ice cold urine?
a lot.
Oh,
I feel like maybe over the ocean, but nowhere else, right?
yeah.
Surely, because there's people everywhere else.
But if you're flying, okay, when you expel the excrement, at least for a moment, is going the exact same speed as the aircraft that expelled it. So how accurate can you predict where said excrement is going to fall on the
Pretty
ground?
pretty accurate, I feel like. I mean, we have invented
Somebody wrote a
bombs
program,
from
somebody wrote a
planes.
Perl script or something to figure out where the urine is going to land on the planet.
If it's not automated by now, I feel like what are we doing up
I
there?
think planes might have more space to store that stuff
So
than
there's a
trains do.
tank.
Right. Well, yeah, because what
But I
the
mean,
the
obviously
longest
trains
flight's
do.
like 14 hours or something, right? Surely.
I would hope
You
so.
have to remember that people board. So if someone uses the toilet and there's a tank, you don't the overall mass of the plane doesn't change.
Well,
That's a
I
good
feel like
point.
we should. I feel like we should move on
Matter cannot be
Yeah,
created or
this is a
destroyed.
from
this is a
from this topic, and I wouldn't be mad if you just cut the whole thing out.
well,
It's not going to happen.
we did at least
Oh
we
boy,
did at least manage to put one Linux reference in there. So
Yeah.
we are
was
not living up to that gift card, y'all.
Okay, so he went on to write, probably won't make it to Mintcast Discord channels at all this weekend to explore/git as a file system. My boss wants me to figure out how the hell a gang of tables are related to each other so we can provide a vendor an appropriate spreadsheet to save a bunch of money. Need to do the best I can and hopefully make sense of it by Monday. And that
Well, the
would have
answer
been
is AI. You ask
Chat
ChatGPT.
GPT. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it would come up with at least a couple of good, plausible solutions, and you just present those straight to your boss. And I mean, hey,
Fake it till you make it. Yeah, and
Well,
I wrote back
hold
to
on.
him.
I'm upgrading Gen 2 if I'm already here.
okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a useful thing to do. And it's
Okay,
already
Once
my-
a
done.
month.
Me and Gen 2, basically, I just root into it and tinker with it. And I don't even boot it. I think I booted it twice to make sure it works. So
Over the past couple of days, I helped someone cheroot into their forgotten password system and reset a password, which is not not hugely technically an achievement or anything like that. But yeah, you said cheroot, and it just reminded me of that, and it was
On
kind of
Arch, it's Arch Cheroot.
yeah, but I
Just-
looked at the source for Root and it seems to be doing a lot more things than what I do because my knowledge of cherooting is from the Gentoo wiki where it lists the directories you have to bind mount, and I do that, and then I cheroot into it and it works.
I've only ever actually used Arch Cheroot to when I'm doing the from scratch install because it seems to I don't know it seems to have scripts that help when you're doing the install and all that. And whenever I've had to cheroot after that, I love that
see
word.
that's why Arch
cheroot.
is too easy.
It is now with the Arch install script. It's easier than Red Hat now.
Yep.
So, which kind of, I'm really kind of surprised something like Arch would go with something like that. But anyway, one more
Hold on,
letter from.
I've never used the installer. What makes you say it's easier than Red Hat? Is it a GUI?
Not a GUI, but it's a step by step. You go down the list and you just tell it the things you want. It's easy to me
That
because
sounds like Slackware.
Are you talking about the Arch install?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it speaks ButterFS correctly, like Fedora ButterFS.
Oh, that's nice.
which
my only-
which is kind of nice.
My only complaint about the OpenSUSE installer, which I like, is that it can't do, there's no way to do custom Butterfly subvolumes. As in, not nested, unnested subvolumes.
Oh,
So any
I've
installer that can
never-
do that, I appreciate.
I've never tried to go outside of except just for the installer. Once I get it installed, then if I want to make other sub volumes and that, then I've done that in the past. But I'm just happy that it actually puts home and at home and root and at root. I don't really need at var at user or any of that other stuff it does, but it does it. So why not?
Yeah. The way
Which-
OpenSUSE does subvolumes is very different from anything I've seen. Because, usually you would have a root subvolume and a home subvolume,
Yeah.
and maybe create subvolumes for stuff that you want to exclude from snapshots, for example, /root or varlog and things like that. What OpenSUSE does is it creates a root subvolume, and then it creates a bunch of subvolumes inside that. And there are numbered subvolumes for snapshots. So if you upgrade your system, it creates a new snapshot, and these snapshots are just called 1, 2, 3, 4, some, and etc. And when you boot into the system, what gets mounted is the latest one of these numbered snapshots, and not just the root snapshot, the root
Right.
subvolume.
Yeah.
And there's a Btrfs function where you can set a default subvolume. So when you go and mount a Btrfs partition and you don't specify the subvolume, you just mount the root and you open it and you see the list of subvolumes. Because the default subvolume is just the root of the partition. But if you have set a default subvolume that is not the root, when you just mount it without specifying any subvolume, the default subvolume gets mounted, which is very interesting because the first time I installed Tumbleweed and I mounted the partition under a different, I was booted into Fedora, and I didn't see any subvolumes. I just saw the root file system because the number one snapshot, which is a default, was mounted by default. And the way I have a very, very much botched installation of Tumbleweed because I wanted to have the classic Fedora style layout. So I ended up doing a bunch of Btrfs send and receive and editing F steps so I can have set it up the way I want.
But that doesn't break the. I mean, I guess it would break the default snapshotting stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't check. I unchecked the enable snapshotting during the installation, which is a handy thing that you can do. So I can just use my own bash scripts. My script is literally called do a snapshot. So I type sudo do a snapshot and it does a snapshot. And if there's more than 10, it just removes the oldest one.
Is it do a snapshot all one word?
All one word, yeah.
Well, I don't. Why? When would you need to do a snapshot outside of updating? It just seems like an extra step to me.
Yeah, I just like to give it a funny name.
Enjoy playing around with
cool.
Btrfs.
Yeah, right.
Well,
and that's totally cool. I can get behind that. But I'm an easy kind of guy. I want it to be easy, and I want to have to think about it. So when I do my zipper dup, I don't want to have to realize later on that, I forgot to do my snapshot.
Yeah. I'm just happy when I've got a distro that knows when I create a root directory, if I choose Btrfs, if I create a root directory, make me a root subvolume. If I create a separate home directory, or make me the basic subvolumes, because from there, once I've got all that mounted, then I can make the other stuff that I want to make. If it's all just mounted in root, then I've got to run something else and then mount that file system and then create all this stuff and copy it over and all that garbage.
That's not fun to you?
No, that's not fun to me. And then you go to boot it back in and you always forget one stupid thing on the F stab,
Of course.
And
recovery mode.
Right. So when you've got a distro that does at least the basic things to get a Btrfs install working, then I appreciate it. So. But on Mint, we got time shift, so we don't need any of that Btrfs nonsense.
I mean, if you
go Btrfs on the install, you can still do snapshots through time shift.
I have not tried Btrfs on Mint. I don't know if it actually creates subvolumes.
It's like the root and one other, maybe home. I can't remember, but
see, if it does that and it's mounting it that way, then that's good enough for me, because
it's whatever Ubuntu does, because Linux Mint doesn't technically support it, so it's whatever the Ubuntu installer does. If that's good enough for you, then it would be fine in Mint.
I am using timeshift with Btrfs on Fedora. I've never actually tried it without Btrfs. How does it do the snapshotting then?
rsync. Just
no,
rsync.
Not in Btrfs. It doesn't. It uses
no, that's what he's saying.
If you are not in Btrfs, how does it?
Then he's right. Rsync, yeah.
So it just copies your entire root into a different place.
Well,
or
you make exceptions.
Hard drive.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it basically
you can make it on the same disk, but that kind of defeats the purpose of a backup, right?
It's not like a one-for-one copy. It's just it's only a one for one copy, or
Mm.
it only adds to your file system if you start deleting stuff. So it's a lot like a ButterFS uh, snapshot, except it's done with rsync, and it's a hard. How
Are
do you
there
explain
deltas? I
this?
don't think there are deltas in
I
the.
I've not seen a one for one copy anywhere. I mean, the way it's explained. Let me see here.
I
Yeah,
should
you
really
gotta dig that
start.
up because I thought it was a 1-to-1 backup. It was just, and then after that, it was just files that have changed. So not like parts of files that have changed, but I think the file that has
I've
changed.
got
So you have,
7 backups on here.
yeah, so
So
you can essentially version. So like the first one is a full backup, is like the files, and then the second one is just the files that changed.
they got tags for O. They got O tags and D tags.
Does it use a Merkle tree somewhere in there?
You can double click on it, I think, and it opens up the file, like the folder directory, and you can browse.
Browse files.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So snapshots. Now,
Because rsync does versioning, but it doesn't do deltaing that I know of. Maybe it does.
yeah, because these folders have no. They've got no real size to them.
Yeah, so nothing changed.
Um,
And so when I say deltas, I mean like
well,
instead
now
of it
hold on.
backing up the text file that you like, just the changes in the text file that you changed, it backs up the text file, the whole text file. So that is not a delta. It is just a new versioned copy of that file.
I
Now,
take that
ButterFS can
back.
do
Now
deltas.
I'm looking at the file size for the slash time shift slash snapshots
Yeah, the first one should be
directory,
big. The second and third and fourth and fifth
and
should not be.
I'm at 9.9 gigs right now, and it's climbing.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, there you go. I
I
mean,
mean, it's the system
10 gigs.
plus the
I'm gonna
changes.
do a little cleaning. I don't
Don't
think I
don't do it. Why? Don't. No,
because
stop it.
there's
This is like system bloat. Stop that. Stop thinking about that. It's not an
Bloat?
issue.
what are the settings here? Yeah, rsync,
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know if you could.
location.
There are some folks that are going to be like, "Oh, why do I have 7 copies? Let's go deleting everything and then try to
Okay,
clean up bloat when you're just hurting yourself."
it's set to keep 5 dailies.
I like to differentiate bloat from bloat. Bloat that sits on your disk but doesn't use resources is different from bloat that runs in the background. That, for example, when I did a clean GNOME install, there's the file indexing for the search, the tracker miners. Those were taking up a surprisingly
That's not
large
bloat.
amount of.
That's spyware. That's
Yes, well,
malware.
well, it's a bit unfortunately named because you see tracker miner and you're like, oh wait, there are someone is mining crypto on my system. There's a track. No, that's just what GNOME calls their file indexing for their search. But the thing is, I don't ever use the GNOME shell search for files, so I just go into the settings and disable the file indexing. It's still installed, but it's not
Why?
taking any CPU cycles. So
Why?
it's well, because I don't use it for files because I know. Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, like, but that's what I mean. You think about it too much. You're thinking about it too much,
Yeah.
and things that aren't really bloat, that aren't really doing anything, that really tend to work. And I mean, dude, that process runs with a niceness level that will never impact your day to day. You will not notice it running in the background, and like all of this stuff. So I agree with you on the libraries and things like that. Just things that are on your disk that never get brought up. But why is it bad if the libraries are chucked into RAM? Why is that bad?
Well,
Unused RAM is wasted
yeah,
RAM. That's
yeah.
cliche and everything at this point. But seriously, why is it bad?
well, I guess one thing that I really care about on my laptop is battery life. So if it doesn't drain the battery, I guess it doesn't really matter.
But
For me.
how much does it drain your battery to put 64 kilobytes of a library inside of RAM? And will that make a noticeable impact on your 4 to 8 hours of whatever you get battery life? I feel like it's not noticeable.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
not even in the realm of noticeable. Like we're
Well,
talking milliseconds of battery time here.
but if you just get in the habit of letting it go, though,
Oh
I can
no,
see the
you've lost
value of.
6 minutes of battery life, Bill. 6 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but I
However,
feel
will
like
you get your work done in that day?
if you never pay any attention to these things, though, how easily
Then
can
your
when,
life would be good. And you wouldn't spend time trying to debloat a system that doesn't need it.
Well, you know, that might be some wisdom in all that.
You
You
know,
There
know,
is some
sometimes
wisdom in all that.
debloating is fun. That's
No, no,
why.
no, no. If
Yeah, that
debloating is a thing that you want, then
What
you
you
need
just
to
said
be
is
building
perfectly
from
fine.
Arch or Gentoo.
Yeah,
And we do.
that's why I have my Gentoo installation.
And
just
that's totally
tinkering with
cool.
it.
You just never add the stuff that you would consider bloat. That's fine. But because you consider things bloat, like the indexer, you're making your life hard.
It's not bloat because bloat is subjective. That's
It
my
is.
go-to. That's my opening line whenever I talk about bloat. And well, I guess that is a bad example because, like you said,
That's the
it
name of
doesn't.
this episode, by the way. Bloat is subjective.
Yeah. Yes, but there is okay.
Bloat is what I say it is.
Yeah.
So saith the
Okay.
Leo.
Here's an example where I mentioned OpenSUSE as installer, and that I would like if it had Btrfs custom subvolume layout capabilities. The other thing that I find a bit annoying about OpenSUSE is that I haven't tried it with Plasma, but if I select GNOME, the GNOME package selection is very much a kitchen sink package selection on OpenSUSE, because if I select GNOME, it will install a bunch of games that not even Fedora comes with by default. And
Did the games hurt you?
No, but I don't want them when I open my application grid. I don't really want them to be there because
Wow.
it's
You
harder
wanna
to find
just
stuff.
install
I could just
KDE
put them
games
into
and
yeah.
What do you mean it's hard? Do you actually thumb through the menu? Like the
No.
application's lit?
No.
What do you mean it makes it hard? What? Harder to find what?
I'm trying to think of more generally.
What- nothing.
what Norbert is trying to describe is this, and it's not really behavioral. It's this need for there to be order and for things that don't have a direct use in your life should not be there. It's Marie Kondo. You heard of Marie Kondo?
Yes,
She said,
but that's
get rid of all the
also
things you're not
overboard.
using because it's weight on
No.
your soul, Leo.
No, it's
These
not.
things are weighing down your soul, Leo. Be happy.
No.
That's not weighing down your soul.
It is. This is like 60 grams, dude. Luigi weighs approximately 60 grams. And
Yeah, but will
Marie
your
would have
battery
me
last
get rid of him.
longer if you didn't have that 60 grams?
You know what? You're probably right, because when I put him on the laptop heats up. It makes the battery less efficient. So it is, right? But at this point, I'd rather have Luigi and just enjoy my life as opposed to being extreme minimalist and spending hours.
I think
would rather
some people,
have
some people can do that, and some people just can't. Some people,
right, and
they
you know, this is what
need
Norbert
to-
was saying, that it's subjective.
Yeah.
Bloat is subjective. But
So you shouldn't feel bad if you need to get rid of it, and you shouldn't feel bad
if
you
you're
don't
gonna Marie
care.
Kondo your system, maybe Marie Kondo your free time too, and stop wasting time trying to debloat a system and go for that
These
hour.
things,
Go take a walk, dude. Go take a deep breath while you're walking around. Not in
I just got-
Texas because it's 108 degrees outside, but
Not
I
in
mean,
Hungary, it ain't.
when the sun goes down, you go take a walk when you would
I just
normally
got-
be debloating.
I just got home from a walk 5 minutes before we started. But the thing is that I don't debloat because I'm not going to install Fedora and remove packages because I like the
You were
way.
just describing unchecking boxes in OpenSUSE. You debloat.
Yes, but that is before the installation. The installer starts copying packages, which is a way better approach than installing your system and then removing packages
It's a middle ground.
that
I'll give
were
you that.
were pulled as a dependency by a Fedora
yes,
package
because
group.
we've all had that situation where we tried to get rid of this silly thing that we never use, and everything. And it seemed like the entire system was depending on it. You go to try to, I don't know, what's something that just destroys
and that is a
everything
common
when
trope. That is
Yeah.
a very common thing in Linux,
Yes.
and it's because of this need to debloat, and it's useless need. It's useless need. If build it the way you want it, or just leave it alone.
The thing is that I do that with Fedora because the archway has stuck with me. So when I
Yeah.
install Fedora, I just with the net install, I just choose minimal system, and then I
That's
install
fine.
whatever I need on top of that. Yeah. So
That's fine. But you know what? I guarantee you, if you actually look through every single package that comes in with minimal, you'll find something that you don't need. I guarantee it.
Hmm.
So
And if you
did
try to
you really
uninstall
debloat?
it, it'll destroy your system.
System D depended on that, man.
Yeah.
Ripped out System D. Hope you got
It's
run it
like
back
a
there.
basket. It's interwoven together. So it's
Yeah.
probably
The epitome.
best, that you do not. If you once you get it installed, just leave what came with it alone if you can.
Not because it'll break your system, but because it will free up time in your life. Like
Yeah.
you can actually do something with the system as opposed to tinkering with the system. I mean,
But
there are
tinkering
folks
with
that
the
just
system is one of those things people enjoy doing.
right, and I totally get that.
That's-
If you're tinkering for the joy of tinkering, you're kind of exempt from this. But people get this little bug that is like, oh, my system takes up 4.8 gigabytes on my system. It probably shouldn't. I bet I could get it down to like 3.5. But why? Why on a 256 gig SSD, right? I mean, I feel like we're well beyond that as a standard size.
Yeah,
We're
and-
up to a terabyte now,
Yeah.
but on a 256 gig SSD, I feel like really like
That's what I have in my laptop because that's what it came with it.
right, yeah, exactly, right.
And that's
I mean,
pretty
it's not
standard nowadays, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are still having those conversations about.
And if I really
freeing up.
cared about, if I cared about how
Windows,
much my
maybe.
system,
Yeah, Windows.
if I cared about how much my system takes up, I probably wouldn't have Fedora and OpenSUSE installed. So
right.
I mean,
So that's
yeah,
not a
That's
concern
the
for you.
reason we make these shows.
Yeah.
We enjoy tinkering with these things. We enjoy uninstalling a game and seeing if it wrecks your entire GNOME shell.
No. See, y'all
I-
might. I
I don't
enjoy
ha-
tinkering with applications that live on top of the system. I'm not worried about the system. Oh no, Ubuntu comes with
Ooh,
Snap
speaking
P.
of
Just don't use it.
applications on top of the system. So I started tinkering with Distrobox today at the behest of your
Oh.
last
Excellent.
episode. You say excellent. It's interesting. What I wanted it for was if I wanted to use a stable base system, but I had the occasional itch to install something from an Arch repository, I
Well,
could
what-
run an
What bloated stable base did you install?
well right here on Mint.
Okay. Well,
I
very
didn't say
bloated.
bloated.
then.
I just yeah.
No,
I-
I said bloated, but I mean, come on. According
But
to the
I
people that are trying to
tried-
trim that size down, it's bloated. It comes with Warpinator, dude. You don't need that. Throw it away.
Yeah, I've never been able to get that to work.
Oh, come on.
But but the other reason I liked it is because it runs on Docker, which I've always wanted to make as much use of Docker as I could.
It's not
And
Podman by default.
No, it's whatever you install. If you've got Docker installed,
I
it
just
uses
apt
Docker.
installed Distrobox. What is it? So it comes with Docker when I do that?
No, you've got to choose one. So did you already have Docker installed?
I don't remember. I didn't pay attention to the bloat.
So I don't know. I installed Docker first. So maybe if you don't specify, then
Interesting.
it'll
Okay.
go and get Podman. I don't know. I'll have to try that.
I feel like Podman was the choice for me. It may be different on
OpenSUSE,
different systems, but I think it was Podman.
I don't know OpenSUSE. If I don't specify, it will pull Docker. But if I install Podman and then install Distrobox, then it will just use Podman.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's on the system. Hold on. Okay.
On Fedora, I'm just using
maybe we'll
Podman
look at it.
because the Fedora repo I think doesn't have Docker at all.
I wonder though if you had both of them installed and you wanted to be able to choose between one and the other, how you could do that. But that might be a little bit deep in the weeds.
I better be careful typing this password in next to the microphone because apparently, did you hear about this? AI, 95% accuracy. Whatever you type on the keyboard, all it has to do is listen. 95% accuracy, dude. This is better than shoulder surfing. It's amazing. You just walk around with a recorder and hear
Yikes.
everybody's like in an open air cubicle kind of area, dude. You would just have them all. Because AI would be able to differentiate someone over here versus someone over there, and then when you isolate those keystrokes, you're just pulling passwords left and right. It's fantastic.
Is that Debian?
You know it is, man. That's
Bookworm.
now this is a bloated stable base right here. I love
Yeah.
it.
I actually
Oh, the suspense is killing me.
shifted over to using the Nix package manager on top of a non-Nix OS system. So right now I have it on OpenSUSE, which is really nice. I basically I use Nix as a quote-unquote flatpak for the terminal, because if I just need something that is just a terminal command that doesn't have to run in the background, I just run it from time to time. I will just, and it's not in the repos, I just Nix install it. Nix
That's actually
env.
okay, I like that. Distrobox
Yeah.
can do command line stuff though, right?
Yeah, but Distrobox requires you to set up a container separately, update the container to start the container, stop the container. NixOS, the Nix package manager, I think it also does some level of containerization. I think it just
Well, sort of more
yeah.
like a containerization, just in a directory somewhere else.
Yeah, so
named with a very unique name that will never be overwritten.
And then
by
with
Yeah.
another very
Distrobox,
unique
you
name.
can export that application out of
Yeah.
the Distrobox, and it can run.
Well, so
Even
you
graphical
can with
seemingly
Nix as well,
transparent.
right? Because Nix is just a configuration file, so you can take those configurations and move it over to another system. So I mean, easier, right? Because you're just talking text files with Nix.
yeah.
That might be
I,
the next thing I try.
I don't
It's
think I
worth it.
actually had to touch any Nix config files for the package manager. I just installed the packages.
No, only if you want to move it.
Yeah, it builds its own environment, and there's a bin folder, bin directory that it symlinks its binaries into, and then appends that to the front of your path.
So
And
the
then-
reason why I chose Distrobox over something like Nix was because well, let me ask you this, Norbert. Have you installed Firefox through Nix?
No,
Okay.
I only use it for the CLI stuff.
Here's a challenge for you, if you'll accept it. Install Firefox in Nix and find out if it can do streaming sites. Like, does it have H.264, H.265 built into the browser or not? Because the thing that I found with Distrobox is that I needed Firefox on Debian. There's only ESR. No. So
Sid.
I was, but Sid still has ESR. They don't have regular Firefox, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Regular.
Yeah.
What version is it?
I think it was
Yeah.
let me check.
Yeah, we can go to packages.org. I love that website.
Packages at Debian.org
Oh,
is where I am.
by the way, if you're listening to this and you want to know a package on any distribution, any popular distribution, go to pkgs.org. Those guys basically find out that answer. You type in the name of the package, it will show you. And
Oh
the
my
coolest
gosh, they've got all of the distros on here.
But the reason I'm bringing
Lots
this
of
up
ads.
is because they do this for free.
With a
Go
lot of
give them
ads.
$1. It is worth your time to give those guys $1 or $2 here.
Click
and
on
there.
every one of these ads.
Apparently,
Do it. Yeah. Seriously, turn off your ad blocker for once, and then just click on the ads a
Dude,
couple
this
times. Like,
this
give these
site
guys
is
some money.
covered with them.
116.
Well, no,
It's fine.
because
I don't. Whatever.
it's because they don't get enough in donations.
no,
Like
I get it.
they had put captchas in front of things for a little while too, because there were bots that were using it, and I get that, but also these guys need some money, so give them $1. They're totally worth giving them $1. They're on 115 in Sid, man. No, oh wait, no,
116.
116.
I see 116 in
Yeah, but
on
there's
packages.debian.org.
We're on 116.2.
It says 116.0-2, so it's not. That
No,
two.
not -2.2. That is
I
the
mean-
second build of the 116.0.0 of Firefox. There should be
How long did that come out?
Yeah, because look, the ESR is 115.1.0 0. So there's, I think there's a difference. Pretty sure the dash two is like the second build of it. Like the first one failed, or something. Or
But
there was a
aren't
bug.
these version numbers more? They compile these binaries themselves, right? So aren't those version numbers more specific to the distribution?
Yeah, after the dash, it just.
Oh, right, and that's what the dash is, the dash 2. So it doesn't necessarily mean the Firefox's third version. So 116.0.2 is Firefox's third iteration of Firefox
Okay.
on the 116 branch. So 116.0-2 is Debian's second iteration of the 116.0.0 branch.
That's still fairly up to date, though, I think.
Oh, and right, sure, but it's not up to date. And you know who is up to date? Arch and Firefox and Fedora. So
Well, we expect this kind of thing out of Arch.
And FlatHub and
exactly.
Snapcraft.
And so here's back to the original point, which was the reason I use Distrobox is because I tried Firefox in Fedora, but I should have known this, but Fedora doesn't come with all those codecs. Firefox in Fedora doesn't come with all the codecs that you need to run, the Disney streaming service, right? But Arch does. Arch compiles with all that stuff in there. They're not as averse to non-free software as Fedora is. So in this case, I have a batteries included, up-to-date Firefox from Arch on Debian.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to worry about adding SID and having to do apt pinning or some kind of weirdness like that. I just installed one from Arch and keep that one updated, and it's great.
So
think
I tried
Nix-
to
Sorry, I think Nix
install-
does the same because they just have one giant channel and don't split into repos, as far as I know.
Right, but is there Firefox batteries included? That is the real question, and that's one that I would.
Yeah.
That's my challenge to you, Norbert. If you would do me a huge solid, install
I
Firefox
might.
and find out.
I might because now I'm intrigued. But
Yeah.
the reason I don't really think about that anymore because I'm just using the Flatpak of Firefox everywhere.
True,
And
and
it's been-
the Flatpak is batteries included, and I just don't like containerized browsers because those, like Flatpak Snap, those come with additional baggage and issues that you don't get in a Distrobox/Nix kind of situation.
Isn't-
Like with Flatpak, there are times when you would need to use something like FlatHub or the command line to open up things in Firefox. For
example?
instance, when you download stuff, goes to your downloads folder. The Flatpak itself does not have access to the rest of the system. So you can't, like, from, /temp or something like that. You can't drag a file from /temp into Firefox. It'll be like, huh? I can't see that directory. That directory doesn't exist. And it doesn't have to be temp. It can be anywhere else. Basically, anywhere that's not your home, Firefox will not do it. And, well, any app in Flatpak that is properly containerized as a Flatpak will not accept files, drag and drop style, or anything else from directories that aren't your home directory. And I think we've even gotten to the point now where it's not just your home directory, but directories it's very specific directories, like the downloads folder itself. So they come with additional package that would require additional configuration that, if you heard my stance on Bloat, I just don't want to deal with it. So so this is where Distrobox really shines for me because they don't have those limitations. For better or for worse, I understand that Flatpak does it for security reasons, but
and that's something that's good to have in case of a browser, since that's what people use the most, isn't it?
Sure, yeah, exactly. And so I'm not advocating that everybody go out and do it like this, but I'm running on Debian. I needed a new Firefox, and I didn't want to deal with the hassle of poking holes in a Flatpak or something. Because if I'm going to poke the holes anyway, I'm already risking it. So why not just install something that I don't need to poke the holes in?
That's fair. I also had to add additional file systems in FlatSeal to Firefox. But
yeah.
That is sort of a set it and
just
forget
click
it
the one
stuff.
box that says
Everything,
enable the
yeah.
user, the user
Yeah, did you
directory.
just click the all?
No, I didn't.
Well, why not? I mean, if you would have been apt installed Firefox, it would have access to it. So
Yep, exactly. And that's exactly kind of where my head's at. Had this would have been normally packaged anyway, like they do in Linux Mint that I use all the time, then it would have the same amount of access. So
But if
it
you
does not
use-
bother me.
If you use Firefox via Distrobox, doesn't it still have access to everything? Because
Correct.
your root file system gets a mount point inside the Distrobox.
Yes, correct. And that's great because that means I can drag and drop files into Nextcloud and not think about it.
which in my mind kind of solves because what I've been looking for, the golden goat for me has always been the benefit of containerization, in that if you need libraries that or something separate from the system, you have that benefit, but not necessarily siloed off from the rest of the system unnecessarily. There are some things that I want the added security benefit for, and I will install those things for
Yeah.
that purpose. But
And
a
like,
browser, my number one browser, I don't need
yeah,
to be siloed off in quite that
right.
way.
I don't
So
trust people on Discord. Like there are some channels I'm in that anybody can join. There's thousands of people in there. There's no telling what kind of creepy crawlies people are going to be trying to share. Discord, flat pack all day.
yeah,
Yeah, sure. But Firefox, no, because this is my way to reach out to things. Discord is other people's way to reach in to me. So that can be containerized. I totally agree with that. And if I need to drag and drop something from to Discord or whatever, I don't mind putting it into the downloads folder and then doing it.
yeah. And by the way, if you need the benefit of the complete siloed off containerization, you've got LibreWolf as a flat pack, and that is the kind of browser that is born for flat pack containerization or Snap, to where it's completely siloed off, and it's got all of the necessary things enabled and all the necessary things disabled, and you have a more reasonable expectation of security that way. Uh, but yeah, the thing I've been
Now,
having.
with LibreWolf and stuff like that, man, I think a lot of times it's a false sense of security, man. People start
You
doing
still got to
stuff that
watch
they
what you
normally
do.
do. Like, I mean, with the moment you log into or start behaving the same way that you do on the internet
Right.
as you do on another browser or whatever, it's already over. Like there is no expectation of privacy on the internet anymore. There should
No,
be, but there
you
isn't. And using a browser that will straight up pigeonhole you as other already puts you in a group that is extremely small. I mean, using Firefox already put you in that group, right? And then using LibreWolf, which I suppose has to use user agent switching of some kind to make it look just like regular Firefox, or even maybe masquerade as Chrome or something like that. But I mean,
I think it does look like
it lures
Firefox.
people. It's like using Tor, the Tor, what it
Tor
the
browser.
Tails,
Tails.
the entire operating system, right? It lures people into a false sense of security. Like they'll open up Tor browser and be like, "Oh wow, I'm getting to Facebook through the Onion site," and then logging into Facebook, like, no,
There is never going to be any substitution for applying a little bit of sensibility to these things, because you can obfuscate all of the technology away that you think you can, but in the end, it's still up to you, the user, the person that partakes in the internet, if you will. You've got to watch what you do, because it is still a wild west. These tools can help you out, but if you go like Leo said, if once you log into Facebook, all bets are off. Once you log into anything, all bets are off, because
no, you don't even have to log in, man. Just go to YouTube, dude. Like your behavior is
yeah.
already putting you in a group. So yeah, you go to YouTube and look up Linux videos. You're already a huge minority.
I just tried something interesting with Firefox. I created a new directory in the root, so in the root of the system, and gave my user ownership. So it's a directory. I copied an image there. It's a directory that Firefox definitely doesn't have any access to, the Flatpak of Firefox. So if I try to drag and drop that file from Dolphin into Firefox, it just says file not found. But if I press Ctrl O in Firefox, which opens up the XDG desktop portal file picker, and I select that file, then it loads. But if I look at the address bar, it's not actually root slash directory slash file.
Right.
It's
the portal.
slash run slash user slash 1000 slash doc slash file name. So it creates a temporary copy of it, and that gets loaded into Firefox.
Wait, so you
So
did not add any additional permissions to Firefox to do
no,
this?
I did not add any permissions to Firefox. It doesn't have any access to this directory. But if I drag the file into Firefox, it cannot see it. But if I open it via the XG portal, so Control O, select the GTK file picker, then it loads, but not the file directly. It creates a temporary copy
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Is it a copy or is it just like a bind with
It's
No,
like a
it's
hard link or
special
something,
permissions?
maybe.
well, let me see. It's in /run/user. So
I would suppose hard link. That would. I mean, that way you don't have to use up inodes or space.
wait, cd /run/user/1000/doc and
L.
interesting. Is
not
wait,
there.
cd. It's like hashes.
Well, right, because you don't want to accidentally this way, you can do the same file again with changes inside, and then it would not be confused. It's like Nix, right? Like installing two
is
different Firefoxes side by side in Nix will give you like crazy weird looking paths. But that's how this is working too. It's
It
just
doesn't-
creating.
It doesn't appear to be a hard link. It's just a simple copy. The
Copy.
number in the one in the when I do ls/lh.
Hold
the
on.
one mi-
Bloat alert.
Right, but does that
What?
that /run/ whatever you said, does that have the same permission structure as what you would have doing it the other way?
Well, the file has the
Seems so.
same permissions.
I mean, my blocker was just drag and drop files, and Norbert's showing that you can do that in a Flatpak. This changes things a little bit. If it does work, then I don't have any reason to run it through Distrobox anymore.
Yes, but if I delete the original file, the copy. Oh,
Remains, I
the copy.
suppose.
The copy. No, it just went away.
Oh, so they are
Interesting.
linked. They're just not
It's-
links.
It's not hard link, but it's
Right.
somehow it's aware of the original file.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
wonder if I change the original file and then press F5 in Firefox, would that?
What? Yeah. Well, so you said that there was another like hash looking thing. So or the name was hash looking. I would suppose.
No, the name is the same. It's just in the inside the directory. Wait, where is it?
See, these are the interesting rabbit holes I like to go down. I ain't trying to debloat.
So if
nothing,
I
but
go
this is fun.
into
Yeah.
/run/user/1000/doc, there's a bunch of gibberish directories.
Now, if the doo-doo stories at the front didn't scare everybody off, this is it. This is where we lose the rest of the audience.
I didn't even get to his last email here. I'll
Oh,
read
so
that
what
well.
you're saying is the entire episode is feedback.
Well, I mean, kind of looking that way. So I replied and told him about some of the lore and the job, and he emailed back saying, "Thanks for the reply. I conjecture that most of my podcast fan mail goes to Dev Null, or an appropriate synonym for non-Linux users. I wonder if it's because of their spam filters. C/4
Well, no,
lights."
you see, the other podcasts have a truck, and in that truck, they put a hole in it that goes down to the road.
and that's where
And
it
that's
goes.
yeah, and above that, you're correct.
I gotta make a
says
hole
dev
now
null.
and put a like a little label on it saying /dev/null.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if I ever had a place that had a bathroom, like a public bathroom or something like that, it would just have dev null above it because that's where
Yes.
everything goes, right?
God, nothing says nerd like dev null above your
Oh
toilet.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope it's not Dev Random.
And then if you do that, you gotta.
Oh
put,
no.
You gotta above
like
your
throwing it
front
up to the
door. You
fan,
gotta above your front door. You gotta put 127.0.0.1.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just tried something, and it's interesting. There's a file. Firefox Flatpak has no access to the directory. I open it in Firefox. It created the copy in /run. I edited the original GIMP. I overwrote the file. I pressed F5 in Firefox, and it updated the copy itself as well, which is impressive because it doesn't appear to be a hard link. It just
Right.
it just somehow the XDG portal just knows to keep them in sync.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what is syncing those things? Is it something built into XCG Portal, or is it reaching out and calling to other applications to do that work? Ooh. See, this is my kind of
XDG
intrigue.
portal kind of a black box piece of
No.
technology because nobody seems to talk
No.
about it. I don't
It's
think
a
anybody.
window. a portal, if
Oh,
you will.
a window. That's a good way to get us behind it.
That's right. That's right. I run Windows
Let me get
98
to
still.
this email for crying out loud. I recently started working for a small family-owned truck repair company doing something like IT in semi-rural Colorado. This company is 120 people with 9 locations across the states. We have a location in Abilene. I don't know what my job is yet. They need me to manage user accounts, hack things, make reports for accounting. I just got permission to start a project to replace our advertising display vendors with Raspberry Pis. I get to do fun things sometimes. Oh, they're gonna figure out a way to fire you. Um, Starts downloading 3FT episode. So
Now,
apparently
listen,
he's
listen. What you do is don't document anything,
no. That's what
and
just
then
what
they
I was thinking.
can't.
If you use a bunch of Raspberry Pis, don't tell anybody nothing. They won't be able to run this place without you
And then
because
one
they
day those
didn't.
pies explode, and they'll be like, "NPR fan,
And I
no."
was just thinking, I hope you're not waiting on them to tell you what your job is because they don't have a clue.
You do computers, man.
Yeah, something with them daggum old computers, man. They over in
Y'all,
that room over there.
y'all work on microwaves too, right?
Okay, I gave up trying to hop into Red Hat years ago, mostly because of the SE Linux concept. Why? Just disable it. I was confounded by it. Also, I made my display name on a CentOS forum /Red Hat /, and I felt the admin was being mean in the way he told me to change it. I was young and really didn't know why it mattered. He also said other things that I felt were condescending. Since
Yeah.
then, I stick to things like Debian and Ubuntu.
SE Linux has changed a lot. The thing that you ran into was that the profile for the software didn't exist, and I suppose the guy that you were talking to was like, "Well, why don't you just write a profile then?" Except SE Linux profiles are actually pretty complex and not at all easy to get into. But the guy had already done all that work, so he knew and couldn't believe that you didn't. But nowadays, SE Linux has profiles that you can apply that are very easy to do, that make your life a whole lot easier and secure up your applications. So, it's worth another look if it matters to you. If not, then it's just bloat.
Disable it.
How does
Ah,
SC Linux compare to AppArmor in terms of how these profiles
They do a lot.
work?
They do a lot more things. I'll tell you this: the U.S. government don't use AppArmor. They use SE Linux. So, if that
well,
tells you anything.
Red Hat's an American company too, and Canonical is a European company.
Oh yeah, I didn't even really think about it like that, but
Yeah,
that's probably why.
or excuse me, not
Huh.
European anymore.
SUSE also
It was
uses.
originally South African, right? So it's an African company that has, but well, no, it's not, right? Because
It's
he
English at
when
best.
I did the history on Ubuntu, it was
Isle
it
of
was
Man.
Yes, you did.
created in a flat in somewhere in the UK. I can't remember where, but
Isle of
probably
Man.
Isle
somewhere
of
in
Man is
England.
what
Yeah,
the distro watch lists, I
Where?
think. Isle of Man.
Isle of Man, where they have
Oh,
the
Man is
bike
really?
pronounced
race.
Man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
I like their flag. It's got legs on it. That's cool.
so I think as far as the government goes, it'd be hard to imagine them going with something like Canonical when they've got Red Hat right here. But
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh, and now they
Uh,
got the IBM name back in it, which is, I mean,
I need
that's
to
another
finish.
win.
I'm gonna finish this, and I've got a quick announcement, and then we're gonna have to get out of here because I got to get over and start the stream on
Have you ever
Roundtable.
done an entire show over just one email? We have.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Well, I mean, it's actually like 3 or 4 emails, but it's the same guy. And he did buy Chipotle, so we got to give him all the love we can.
I
Um,
mean,
he goes on to write, I have at least one Proxmox machine running all of the time, and it feels like I have no idea how to use it. Like, I know it's Debian, but like, there's 1 terabyte hard drive. I told Proxmox to use half of it, and then somehow it doesn't have space for QCOW or VHD images or something. How do you manage disk assets in this game? I don't know where to find tutorials to learn. Can't take a break from work to attend the official course. How do I learn this thing? I have periodically run my 2004 CAD application on a Windows XP VM. How do I then get the created work out of the XP bottle? Can you just extract the files from QCOW? Is that a thing? Do I have the do I have to create a virtual network and then click on the Windows share thing to make a Samba server? I hope this feedback yields value somehow. I just saw Ira Glass in a Boulder last night, famous in the context of public broadcasting and journalism. One may have heard of This American Life.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
One piece of advice that I really took to heart was to keep making stuff no matter how bad I am at it. Oh, yeah. Uh, Whatever that stuff is. And so I will persist in making the stuff. I hope all you guys too for as long as you like.
Okay. Two
And
things. So I've got answers for you for two things. Number one, Proxmox, just don't mess with it. Don't do that. What happens is if you just choose the default installation of Proxmox, the partitioning, leave it alone. What's going to happen is they're going to create a 100 gigabyte on a 1 terabyte drive. They'll create a 100 gigabyte partition that will hold the system, which is approximately like 5 or 6 gigs, and the rest of it will be available for you to upload ISOs to. The other 900-ish, well, after partitioning 800 something, whatever. The rest of the disk will be available for you when you create VMs. It is that 800 whatever size partition is the default data store. You can, after the installation, go in and add additional disks, but you don't have to. So just accept the defaults, or I don't know. I guess I'd have to see how because it's all LVM, so it's not like you're stuck. But I'd have to see how it's volumed. I was gonna say partitioned, because not quite, but volumed to know where to point you to not have to just blow it away and start over. But I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. And then on the Windows XP thing, you're talking about the QCOW. You can just mount those. Those can be mounted. I don't remember if there's any kind of special thing you have to do when you mount it. I will look into that and I'll get back to you on that one. But you can, QCOWs are, disks to Linux, so you can just mount them. But I'll get back to you with specifics if it's harder than just mount it.
yeah, so you can interact with Leo directly on this one.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you could totally
Hopefully-
do that too. You could probably hit me at like leo@leochavez.org. That email works.
Oh, there you go. And let us know how that goes for you, because I'd be interested as well.
I'll bring it to the show. I won't
Bring it
hold
to
out.
the show, and we will talk about it. Okay, so real quick, I think I've announced this in other places, but I have been considering, and now I've convinced myself to do it. I am moving our show from our podcast provider, which is called Red Circle. I'm moving that to archive.org. So what's that mean for everybody?
If it includes having to resubscribe to the show, I am against it.
Well, that is exactly what it's going to
Nope,
include.
I don't want to do it.
However, I am going to I'm going to upload the show to both platforms for a month or so to provide a bit of an overlapping period of time. That way people, might not get the message at first, but there really ought to be a way to make RSS
There is.
feeds.
It's not using platforms that lock you in the first place.
Yeah. And I'm regretful that I ever set it up that way at this point. I mean, it's fine for three fat truckers, but it's not real clear to me if we even own the content once we put it on Red Circle. So
Wait,
it's
what? No. What? Why?
well, because it asks you what you want to license the content as.
Right.
But then it's not real clear. They don't have any. They don't come out and tell you that they're not going to use this content for whatever purposes
But isn't it licensed CC BY anyway?
once it's on the website, yeah. But
Well, yeah,
I don't understand. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what they can do with the copy that they have on their server.
literally anything as long as
Well,
they put our name at the bottom of it.
yeah, and I'm just
What's
not
wrong with
comfortable
that?
with any of that. I don't
Why?
know.
What? No, good. No, no. Because if you put it on archive.org under the same license, they can still do that.
I think
They can
I
still go and
trust.
take it and do
They
whatever they
could,
want to
but
with
it
it.
wouldn't be that straightforward because you wouldn't be delivering it directly to them.
Right,
But
but what's the
I
difference?
I think I'm siding more with Leo on this because it's already out there. So wait, are they using it for what? Would they be using it for?
I mean, I had to go out of my way twice to disable the ads, and I have done that. I've
Oh
disabled
That's
the
wait,
trash.
ads.
I'm cool with that.
they re-enabled them.
Yes,
Oh,
Did they
and
re-enable them, or was it just like a weird web application thing where you saved it, but it didn't really save, and so you had to
don't
go in
know,
there and save it
don't know,
again?
don't care. The fact that it was not as straightforward as it should be tells me that, and I trust archive.org a lot more, and
I
I
mean, they're getting
know
sued into oblivion right now. There's no telling if Archive's going to even exist soon.
into oblivion. Yeah, I suppose, but I mean,
I mean, look, if anybody can take archive.org down, it's the music business. And they are suing Archive now. Aretha
are they trying to take
Franklin,
money from them, or are they just trying to get them to
400
stop what they're
million?
doing?
How much do you
Yeah,
think Archive has in cash?
like $5.
Right. Yeah, there you go. There you go. They're
If
in the
that
same boat
happens,
Jimmy
then
Wales is in.
if
And
that
Jimmy Wales
happens,
is like,
then I will create my own server to host these things on. I'm not gonna put our content on a commercial platform.
I think we should wait a couple more weeks or months
well,
before
he
we
is. He
just.
said he's going
I
to post
am.
it to
I'm gonna
both.
overlap. They're gonna go to
Yeah, but
both for a while.
before you even start doing it,
Okay. Why?
uh,
If it's over licensing, I think it's too much work. I think that's bloat. I think this is bloat.
I
I
mean,
think. Well,
do they change the license? Do they
They
license?
cannot legally. They cannot do that.
So
If they are
what is
doing that,
what is the
we can use the
license?
$6 that we have earned in advertisement
CCBYSA.
Okay.
to open up the email to the lawyer and say hi, and then that $6 will be gone. But we could really not like them for it.
But I'm thinking, what is the friction point here? Honestly, the only friction point is that you'll have to
Losing a
research
lot
with
of losing the subscribers that we already have,
and you don't
making
think giving
them
them a
do work.
company, giving them an overlapping period is not enough to sort of I don't want to say cater to that idea, but to give them time to
Well,
get
I've
moved
been in
over
this
to the new.
situation before. I mean, sort of. With my other podcast, we just did not have access to the YouTube. Like, no one knew what the password was. No one, had access to the recovery methods. So we were just up a creek. And so me and Dan, we're just like, all right, well, we got to make a new one. But we're not in that boat here.
No.
We're just in a I don't like it. I don't like Red Circle
Well,
boat.
here's the other thing too. If I use archive.org and basically what I'm talking about doing is moving to the same process that Mintcast uses, where
Right.
the RSS feed is generated by the website itself. In other words, the RSS feed will literally be uh, linuxotc.org / and then the hash that represents the RSS
Slash
feed.
feed or something.
Whereas right now our RSS feed is something to the effect of redcircle.com / and a bunch of stuff after that. It's got nothing to do with us. We have no
I understand.
control over that. So
I mean, my feed on Linux user space is. I think we can link it. We have linked it, and you can link it on the website. You can create a redirect. Was it 301 or something like that? You can make a redirect that takes linuxotc.org/RSS and it points directly at that red circle gibberish. You can do that.
from the website, yeah.
Correct. And so anybody that types it in or pastes it into a podcast catcher can type exactly that and get redirected to the correct address. So I don't know, man. There's internet magic to fix here to fix at least that
Yeah,
issue.
I mean, I would have to. I mean, it's in two places. We're on podcastindex.org and then
iTunes,
Apple Podcasts.
which is also a huge commercial platform. So
Yeah, and we
there's
don't have access to that iTunes. So
yeah.
like that goes away.
I've
so
got
there
the
will now-
access
there-
to the Apple thing.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay,
I'm the
okay,
one that
that's cool.
set that up. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Um,
Oh, cool. Well,
so
that's the big
changing,
one.
yeah, changing the indexes is just something that has to be done.
So wait, so what you're saying is people on Apple, and if we're on Spotify, I don't know, those people will not actually have to change anything.
No.
Right. But if you're not on those platforms, if you sub directly to the RSS, then you will.
Correct.
See, what
Interesting.
I think we should have done long time ago is done the 301 in the first place. linuxotc.org/RSS or /feed or whatever. And if it changed, oh, okay. Because in the background, it would have changed. The redirect would point to a different spot.
And once we've got full control of that RSS feed too, then we can do whatever we want with it. So
Yeah. Now that
I just-
now that is the argument I can accept. We finally got
Yeah.
there. I can accept moving the RSS feed because we want full control.
Well, I mean-
that is fine. But the licensing, moot point. I don't think it's worth changing stuff up for that.
and I suppose if I'm being honest, it is more about having the control. It's
Well, I would say
knowing-
that too because I'll stop
and-
arguing at that point.
Yeah, because and I know that I mean the ultimate endpoint where I know that I've got full control of the data as well as the distribution of it is if I
That's
had
cool.
it sitting on my own server. But the next best thing right now is archive.org because the infrastructure is there to play the file and to
Just say the
distribute
word.
it.
Say the word. It's free.
It's absolutely free. I need all
What we
the free
need to
stuff I
do
can get.
eventually is throw all that crap into an S3 bucket or something like that, and then use object storage to serve it up. I mean, it would cost, but it would not strain archive.org. But in that case, go give archive.org $5. That would be cool. If
That's and I already do that. So I mean, I don't mind. I would rather throw them $5 than spin up a AWS.
Oh, yeah,
S3
yeah.
Or
If
something
we're
like
doing that,
you know.
I'm cool with that.
So, but yeah, that once we've got the RSS feed, then we can. It doesn't matter where on earth that file is sitting because that RSS feed will just point you to where that file's at. But until we've got control of that, there it is. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I'm late.
We could also spin up a Castopod instance and have that instead of a WordPress. I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay,
But, I
so
mean,
you're
we've
saying
got
that
the website.
Yeah.
You can build that. It's the what is that? The Blueberry PowerPress plugin is what generates that and plugs it into the website and does all that work for you. So I mean,
So what you're saying is that people who are subscribed by Apple Podcasts, they don't have to switch feeds.
No,
I don't
because
think
you
they
go
will.
into no, because you
yeah.
go into Apple Podcasts and you just change where the feed is.
Yeah.
And
For
then
example,
it'll
I'm
keep
I'm
going.
using AntennaPod. So as far as I know, it pulls it when I search for a podcast. It looks at both the podcast index and the Apple index. So, and I have no idea how to check which one it used to add my feed for Linux OTC. It just says feeds. That's red
You'll find out soon.
Bunch of stuff.
anyway, we're gonna get out of here.
Send us feedback on if this is going to
Yeah,
piss you
let
off
us
or
know
not.
what you think. Until then, I've been Bill.
I've been Norbert.
I am still Leo. Ugh.